What's up, everyone? My name is Marie. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I am building a Tudor-style family home in the world of Windenburg, and this is, as you can probably tell if you're familiar with this world, it's in the more downtown area of Windenburg. And yeah, I think this area of the world is really pretty. It definitely reminds me of vacations that we used to go on with the family when I was a kid, because I live in the Netherlands, and I do think that Windenburg is kind of inspired by European countries. So it definitely reminds me of like certain parts of France and certain parts of Germany, for example. So yeah, that's definitely kind of what it reminds me of. Also some parts of the south in the Netherlands, also a little bit. But yeah, it definitely just kind of reminds me of the countries or the places we used to visit when I was a kid and we would go on vacation with the family. And I don't know, that's just kind of why Windenburg, and especially this part of Windenburg, kind of just warms my heart in that sense. I think it's really pretty and it's really well made, and it's definitely one of my favorite worlds in The Sims, along with Brindleton Bay. I think those two are my absolute favorites. But yeah, you can see that I am building something Tudor style to kind of blend it in with the rest of the world, obviously. Because I always think that's a lot of fun to do, and I don't very often build Tudor-style houses because I'm not really that comfortable with building them for some reason. I always think they're quite difficult to get right, in my opinion at least. Like whenever I see someone else build a Tudor-style house, I always think they're just the prettiest thing and so detailed and cute. And then whenever I try myself, I always feel like I struggle with getting it right. But then again, at the same time, I was definitely having a lot of fun with this build. I did find another image of a miniature house on Pinterest that I used for reference for this build. I didn't actually recreate it that closely, but I did look at it, especially for the facade of the house. Just the general overall shape of the house, you can kind of see that it's basically made out of 3 separate little buildings, if that makes sense. There is the 2 in the middle, and then there is one, well, actually I made it into 4 because there is 2 little bump outs on either side of the building as well. So I kind of like how it looks like a combination of different houses together. Like maybe they used to be like a right side and a left side separate houses, if that makes sense. Like in the earlier days, like way back in the day when houses used to be a lot smaller. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And then later on, this house kind of just got renovated into one larger family home, even though it's still very small actually. Well, it's not actually that small, but I did furnish it for a family of 4, and it is just very cozy and kind of crammed together. It does have a decent sized kitchen though, but it does have a very small and crammed together dining area, and the living area is also pretty small. So I did go for, I did place the kitchen in the largest, I don't know, just the biggest space of the house, I guess, if that makes sense, but you'll see once we get to the furnishing. But the floor plan for this house actually came together quite easily. I don't know why. It's probably because the shape is very particular, so you don't have a lot of choices when it comes to creating the floor plan. So I kind of just went with whatever shape the house kind of gave me on the inside, and it worked out perfectly fine. There's a nice spacious entryway with a bathroom attached to it. It's a full bathroom with a shower and a sink and a toilet, and then stairs going up, of course. And then the floor plan is pretty closed off, so you have the living area that leads into both the kitchen and the dining area. There's this nice little area with 3 separate archways that I use. I didn't use doors for the majority of this house. I did use doors into the bathrooms and the bedrooms, of course, but not for the kitchen and the living and the dining area because the rooms were already pretty small on their own, so I didn't really want to close them off with doors. I just kind of wanted to use like a more open option, if that makes sense, to kind of give the space a little bit more of a, I don't know, airy and open look and feel, if that makes sense. But I do think that the floor plan turned out quite nicely. The bedrooms are very small, especially the parents' bedroom, of course, because it has a double bed in it, so that takes up basically all of the space. They do have a walk-in closet though, so that is pretty nice, but that is basically all they have in their bedroom. By the way, I'm so sorry, the camera is definitely jumping up and down a lot, which is something that's so annoying about this lot and also about the lot right next to this one. The camera jumps up and down so much because of the back. Like in the back of the lot, there is this area that goes up and it looks really pretty. But it does make it so that your camera jumps up all the time, and it's very annoying, especially when you're watching footage that is sped up. Like, it really makes you dizzy. Like, oh, it's so annoying. So later on, I did decide to actually move the house to a different lot in the same area, but just on a different lot. But you'll see that later on. And I do actually like it better on that lot as well. Here, this is where I actually already moved it. You can see that. That we're on a different lot now, and I don't know, I like it on this lot because this lot is more, the other lot was a little bit more like, it was wider, and this one is longer, if that makes sense. And the house didn't turn out as wide as I initially thought it was going to turn out. So this lot actually did make more sense because I did want to have a nice backyard area and not so much a side yard area, if that makes sense. So yeah, this lot just worked out a little bit better. And you can see that I didn't actually record all of that, but I was struggling so much with the color of the wood, like the wood tones. I didn't know what to do with them, but I did change them to this one, like the more warmer wood tone for the details that you can probably tell is a little bit different from the one that I was using before. But yeah, this is how I keep the color scheme, and I do think that it turned out very, very cozy looking. So yeah, I moved on to the landscaping, which I was also having a lot of fun with. One thing that like frustrates me a lot when it comes to Windenburg is that we do not have tiles or terrain paint that matches the surrounding area, like that stone or that brick on the ground that you can see in the world. We do not have a tile or a terrain paint that matches that, and that is just so annoying. We do have one that kind of matches that came with Get Together, but it doesn't match. Like, I think that the overall structure of it is the same, but it's smaller and the color is way different. So it doesn't make any sense. It looks weird. I don't like it. And it definitely kind of frustrates me because to me, it doesn't really make sense to have this whole lot just be grass in the middle of a downtown area. Like, that makes no sense. Like, by default, this lot should be stone, in my opinion. But it's not. That's okay. Like, we have terrain paint, we can fix that, but we do not have a matching terrain paint, so that's a little bit annoying. But I do think that I made it work in the end. I do like that I used that kind of like gravel terrain paint texture in the front and in the back of the house as well. And it looks way different from the actual stone that you can see in the surrounding area. But I don't know, I kind of just closed off the lot with some fences, as you can see, and with some hedges, and I used a lot of stones to kind of close off the landscaped areas to make it kind of just, I don't know, to kind of have it make sense as much as possible, I guess. But I do kind of, in the end, I got over the fact that the terrain paint doesn't match. And I do like the way that it turned out. Probably the family that lives here, they just decided to buy gravel or something and place that by their front door and by their quote unquote driveway area, which is not a driveway. But basically to kind of decorate their front yard and their backyard with, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I did most of the landscaping in the front of the house, and then later on when I get done with the furnishing, we'll move on to the backyard of the lot. And I really enjoy the backyard. I was kind of intimidated by it at first because it was so big. Like, I did have a lot of space left in the backyard. So I was a little bit intimidated by it. Sometimes whenever I furnish a house, when I'm done furnishing a house and I move on to the backyard, because I always do the backyard last, it can kind of be a little bit intimidating because I always feel like I'm almost done furnishing this house. I'm almost done with this house. I just have the backyard left to do, and it always feels so good whenever I finish a house and I'm done with it. And so that was the same for this house. Like, I was pretty much done furnishing it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. I'm almost done. I can almost finish it up. Only the backyard left to do. So then I moved onto the backyard and I kind of realized how big it was, and I was like, oh gosh, I think I'm gonna need to take a break first because I don't wanna like rush it. I do wanna make it look pretty, or at least as pretty as possible for me. So yeah, I just kind of went ahead and took a break and then got back to it a little bit later. And I had some renewed energy and stuff. And I just in the end, I really had fun with it. And I think it turned out really cute. But here you can see that I am furnishing the living area, and it's quite small, as I already mentioned in the beginning of the video. I do have this bump out that looks really good for those couches, as you can see, that fit in there perfectly. Those corner couches, if you will. I think they're so cute, but I barely ever have an opportunity to use them because I don't really tend to build these kinds of bump outs very often, but for this house I did, and I also had the opportunity to use one of those couches, and I was really happy with that, and I think it looks really cute, and it's just a cozy little family home. So as I mentioned, I furnished this house for a family of 4, which is a little bit cramped, but there is enough space to sit in this living area. As you can see, I think that corner couch fits 2 Sims, maybe 3, but I think it fits 2. And then there is that little chair next to the TV. And then there is that makeshift little love seat that I created out of 2 chairs. And even though I do have those throw pillows on one of the chairs, I did move them over, by the way, a little bit later on. I don't think I recorded that, but I moved them over. But when I was playtesting this house, my sim could actually sit on both those chairs. So if I'm counting correctly, that would be 5 spots for your Sims to sit at, and that works out perfectly fine for a family of 4. You can even have someone over, so that's always pretty nice. But you can see that I just cluttered up the space with a couple of shelves, and I made sure to place down a lot of books around. For some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason I was thinking that this family is very much into reading. Probably has something to do with the house. It's so cozy in my opinion, so for some reason, and I think that reading is also a very cozy thing to do, especially in the fall this time of year. So yeah, for that reason, I was just thinking that this family would be really into reading. And I also placed down a knitting basket, which I thought would be fun. I was thinking that the family that lives here, they have a teen, or like a 14-year-old teen who is really into knitting. I thought that would be a really cute idea. So that teen would be really a creative kind of sim that is into knitting and crochet and all those kinds of crafty things. I thought that'd be really cute. So I don't know, I was just kind of imagining that knitting basket was for them, but I also placed a knitting basket in their bedroom, but you'll see that later on. This, you can see that I am furnishing the dining area, and it's very, very small. I only had space for a table with 4 chairs, so they can't really have anyone over for dinner, which is kind of sad. But in real life, you could easily squeeze a couple extra chairs around this table. In The Sims, it just doesn't work, which is kind of sad because your Sims, oh my gosh, I can't speak. Your Sims will have issues routing around the house. So yeah, I couldn't do that, but in real life, I figured you could easily squeeze a couple extra chairs around that table, no issue there. So yeah, I was just kind of pretending that would work. And here I moved on to the kitchen. I was struggling for the longest time with the layout of the kitchen. I don't know, it took everything. I wanted it to look cute and cozy and family friendly, and I wanted the colors to be just right and just the placement of everything. And it was so difficult for me, this one. I don't know why. I do like the way that it turned out in the end, but that is not like this. I think that the stove actually is in the same place and those counters are too, but I kind of created a separate little counter area right here actually where the fridge is at, and then I turned that into a little microwave and coffee area, which I think is actually really cute. And then this is the actual kitchen counter area, if that makes sense. But I was struggling a lot with the colors because I did want this kitchen to be, or actually everything about this house, I wanted it to be more on the traditional side, not so much newly renovated or anything. I think that this house is just on the older side, so it's a bit more traditional. You can definitely see that in the way that I furnished it as well, I think. But yeah, I also wanted it to be like that for the kitchen. So I was definitely struggling a little bit with the colors, but here you can see I changed the color scheme around. I decided to go for the white counters with the reddish or like orangey brown countertops, if that makes sense. Just that brown color that I never really ever tend to use, because even though I do think it's pretty, I also think that that wood tone is a little bit weird and a little bit in your face, and it definitely does not suit everything that I build. So it definitely takes a very particular build to be able for me to use that wood tone. But I think that in this house, even though it doesn't really match with the other wood tones, like the wood tone of the door and the window and the china cabinet in the corner there, I know it doesn't really match that, but I kind of liked the mismatched look and feel of wood tones for this house as well. So that's why I decided to use it anyway, because I thought it looked really cute and it just made sense for this house. I mean, like I mentioned, I wasn't thinking of this house as a newly renovated build. So yeah, probably the kitchen counters are a little bit older and outdated, and that is why the wood tone on them looks a little bit weird and maybe not that nice, but at the same time it kind of gives the house character as well. So that is kind of what I was trying to achieve for this house, and I think that it turned out just right. And here you can see that this is the hall bathroom downstairs. There is no en-suites in this house whatsoever, so there is a full bathroom downstairs here with just a shower and a toilet and a sink, of course. And then upstairs there is another full bathroom, and that one has a shower tub combination. I don't think I actually recorded that one because I don't know, I don't really like recording bathrooms because it can just get a little bit repetitive. It's not that much to look at, even though I do actually kind of like the way that the upstairs bathroom turned out. It's nothing special, but it just has a couple of, or a single shelf above the toilet that I cluttered up a little bit, and I don't know, I thought it turned out cute. It's just a detail that doesn't really matter, but if you want to go ahead and download this house, you can take a look at that bathroom and see what I mean. In the very beginning, I tried to fit in laundry machines in the downstairs bathroom, but I couldn't get it to work because I also wanted to turn it into a full bathroom. So it was either going to be a half bath and laundry room or a full bathroom. So I decided to go for the full bathroom because I did furnish the house for 4 Sims, and having 2 bathrooms for 4 Sims is kind of necessary. Like, you cannot have a single bathroom for 4 Sims. I mean, it works. I have definitely played that way before, when I have like no money for an extra bathroom or anything. So it does work, but it is quite annoying. So I did want this house to be fun and functional for gameplay as well. So I turned it into a full bath. So there's no laundry in this house. But if you want to go ahead and add laundry to this house, you can definitely do that in the downstairs bathroom. You just might have to delete the shower. So there is that. But here is the parents' bedroom that I was talking about before. As you can see, it's very, very small. It's definitely very cramped, but I really enjoyed using this bed from, I think it's from, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from Cats and Dogs, and also that light on the little shelf. I think it just looks so pretty. I barely ever use that bed because I don't really ever go for more traditional beds and bedrooms for some reason. I do that, but not this traditional, like not this type of style with this type of bed. And I really like the sheets. Like I really like the swatch of the bedding. I think it's so cozy and so pretty. And I love the colors. They scream fall to me. And I think that is just so cute. Definitely for this time of year, like I am into everything fall right now because it is fall, obviously. I think that goes for a lot of people, but it's just, I'm looking out the window right now and it's just raining like crazy and it's already dark, even though it's just past 5 p.m. So it's already starting to get dark, and I don't know, I just love it. I think it's so cozy. I am definitely a fall person. But this is the bedroom for the teenager that I was talking about. So I was kind of thinking of a 13, 14-year-old teenager, which is a life stage that we don't really have in The Sims. I mean, we do have teenagers, obviously, but to me, those teens kind of look like 17, 18-year-olds, which I think is kind of a shame. Like a lot of people, I do wish we had like that preteen stage in the game, but I kind of just create it myself whenever I am playing the game. I just kind of, whenever I have a child turn into a teen, I kind of make sure to dress them not like just a little bit less sophisticated and a little bit more childish and stuff. And I make sure to not give them very sophisticated bedrooms just yet either. So that is kind of what I was thinking for this bedroom as well. And then whenever I have my teens be like halfway through their teenage life stage, I'll kind of slowly change their looks and change their style of clothing and change their bedroom and stuff like that. So I like to create that preteen life stage myself. And I was definitely thinking that this bedroom would be for a preteen or like 13, 14-year-old person. Also because they have just a single bed, and I don't know, the bedroom to me is just definitely not very sophisticated. And they also have a couple posters on the wall still, and I mean, teens have posters on the wall, but I mean like those kind of more childish, quote unquote, looking posters, if that makes any sense. And yeah, as you could probably tell, I placed down a lot of the items from Nifty Knitting in that bedroom as well, because like I mentioned, I was thinking that the teen would be very much into knitting and crafting and all those types of things. And then this bedroom is for a child. I don't really know if the kids or the parents would be male or female. I didn't really think about that. That is really up to you if you want to decide, or if you decide to play with this house and this type of family. But yeah, this bedroom is for a child, so you can definitely tell that it's a little bit more childish than the other bedroom because this one also has toys. So I did make sure to give them a toy box and a variation of the Blurfy as well to play with. It's the cat version of it. I think that one is really cute. So there is not a whole bunch of toys in this house. Really, the only toys are the ones that they have in their bedroom because it don't really has the space for more toys anywhere else in the house. But I was also thinking that this kid was not like the youngest anymore. They're definitely still a child. They're definitely still little, but they don't like play with a dollhouse or anything anymore. Like in The Sims, obviously they would, but that's just kind of what was going on in my mind. So the teen is a younger teen and the child is an older child, basically, is what I was thinking when I was furnishing the bedrooms. But yeah. That was already it for the inside of the house. I moved on to the backyard. It was actually a lot of fun because I started building this house I think a week ago or so. And then I got really busy with work and stuff. And then when I opened my game and finished the house, which was when I did the upstairs and the backyard, there was the update, the Hispanic Heritage Month update, if I'm saying that correctly. I am so sorry if I butchered that. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but we did get the update when I was finishing up this house, and that was really fun because I came across a couple items that I hadn't seen before. For example, the grill that I placed on the back porch. I think it's so cute and so pretty, and I didn't expect to find that item because obviously I updated my game and was very much aware of the update. But I hadn't really taken a look at the new build and buy items just yet. So as I was furnishing, I kind of came across those items. Also, when I was furnishing the first, like the teen's bedroom, I came across that little, that chair that came with the update, and it was perfect for that bedroom. Like, it was so fun. Like, and I didn't know that, I was not aware of the fact that I had that in my game. So when I came across it in the catalog, it was so much fun. Like, it was the cutest thing. So I'm so happy with those items. I think they look really, really pretty. The texture on them as well, they're just so well made in my opinion. So I really, really enjoy those items. I definitely have to do a build in which I can use a couple more of them. But yeah, here you can see that I am just furnishing the backyard. I gave them a cute little orchard, and I also placed down the monkey bars for the kid to play with as well. So they do have an extra activity in the backyard as well. And I don't know, I just think that this backyard is really cozy. Later on, I think I did not record that, but later on I also placed down the flower arranging table and the woodworking table in the backyard. So that there's a couple extra skill building items, and then there's also a chess table on the front porch. You'll see that in a little bit. So I am actually really proud of myself for the fact that I used, or that I placed, a lot of skill building items, because I tend to forget about that from time to time. But it's actually very much like very nice for gameplay. So for this build, I actually remembered. There's no easel though, but for the rest, you pretty much have skill building items for every skill, if I'm not mistaken. I probably forgot a couple things, but you can do gardening, there is a chess table, there is a woodworking table, flower arranging, stuff like that, and then of course a bookcase. But yeah, that is basically already going to be it for this build. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can definitely go ahead and download it off the gallery if you want to. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!